Today's episode is presented by your new favorite vodka, Game Day, a smoother, better vodka that embodies the spirit of the game. Check out Game Day Vodka on the social to see if they rep your team's colors. Use promo code TROSS to get 15% off your order.
15% off Game Day, man. Love it. I've already gone through 3 bottles. Send me some more Game Day.
Yeah, no, my boys, Mike was sending me videos and taking a couple of shots of Game Day. I was like, oh yeah, all right, get ready for the game. So
we got it out here on the West Coast, baby. What's good, man?
Stuck in New York right now. Not stuck in New York, kind of stuck. I'm in New York. We pretty much, bubbling it up, quarantining in the room. So I've been in the room all day.
The usual.
So it's chilling.
I mean, I'm excited for this episode because we get to try to help out our fellow male followers with some relationship advice.
For sure. We got Kat from Fighting the Kidz.
Yep, King of the Sting. She did awesome, man. I think you guys were really gonna enjoy the interview and you're gonna learn a lot.
Super funny. So,
but shit, man, I started diving into the Black Vault. So I don't know if I posted on our page. Do you know what that even is?
Wait, the Black Vault? No.
Yes. So the whole UFO disclosure that got released, you saw that with the COVID relief bill that we talked about. Mm-hmm. The Black Vault basically declassifies, puts all the information online because they make it hard to get. You have to go into the files like the FBI declassified to get to go through all these different things to get it. They make it easier and just mainstream it onto one website where there's just millions of declassified. And I got there and I was overwhelmed. I was like, what the hell? There's just shit everywhere. But then it showed me the Skinwalker Ranch. And I don't know, have you ever heard of this?
No, I've heard of Skinwalker Ranch and all the crazy. I heard Alex Jones talk about like on Joe Rogan, like all the crazy shit that goes on down there.
But, yeah. So I saw
alien stuff.
Yeah, so I saw the show, which is kind of, it is what it is. It's like a TV show, but they try to make it more dramatic. But it is wild. So if you guys get a chance, check out Skinwalker Ranch. It's on History Channel. But all the like animal mutilations that happen there are weird.
Yeah, that's what it was. The cows kept getting like there was like a weird slaughter, but they were it was in such a way that they couldn't explain because like the cows were like drained of blood, and it was something that was making like a puncture wound that was like
it wasn't
doing. It was like they're taking cuts out the cow or something. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is like it wasn't like wolves. It wasn't. They couldn't find a specific animal that
was doing all this.
And so that led them to like, and then they did this whole radiation thing, and there's so much radiation coming from the ground around there. So they had like actual people come out.
Yeah.
And their like radars were going off crazy. Like there's just
right.
And so like there's the theory that's like a gate into underground somewhere there. And that's why there's a lot of UFO sightings.
For sure. I can guarantee it's probably
it's in Utah. I don't know if it's in Utah.
Yeah. If they're declassifying it now, I can guarantee there's probably nothing going on there right now. But probably, let's say 10, 15, 20 years ago, there's probably super flooded with activity, people, going in and out.
That's the thing. A billionaire owned it before, and then the government bought it. And then another super rich guy bought it now. And that's where he put up all these high-tech video cameras. So they have cameras literally everywhere on there so they can see stuff.
Everything, yeah.
But stuff still happened. Like cows are still getting mutilated in weird spots. Like they never see the cows in this area, the farm, and then they're all just crammed in one corner because they're scared of something.
That's what I heard. I heard that it was like, they were finding cows in like weird places that cows couldn't get.
Yeah.
And it's just like, all right, well, they found one in like a freaking well. Or they found some like in a freaking corner of like a barn somewhere that was like up high, but like killed and drained the blood. It was just like, how the hell did that happen? But
so weird shit going on there. And who knows? It's Utah. Who knows what the fuck's going on there?
Don't say that, my wife is taking the kids to Park City this week.
Park City's a nice place. What are they doing? Skiing?
Yeah, they're gonna be trying to learn how to ski.
Are you dead ass?
I'm dead ass.
They're going to Park City to ski. Why? Because it's the only place open other than Florida. I think Utah is kind of open.
Guessing.
I think Utah
I don't know.
Pretty much open.
Who knows?
Before we get into this relationship advice with Kat, support for the show is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in man's below the waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision engineered tools for your family jewels. How's your Manscaped treating you, buddy?
Man, if you listen to me right now and you don't have a Manscaped and you're a man and you need your shit scaped, go ahead and get Manscaped because I'm telling you, bro, it's perfect. Like I used mine today actually. clean shave, no nicks. Flashlight was banging. You know, it's just, you know, no nothing crazy. So shout out Manscaped. If you don't have it now, please treat your balls right
and get one.
Go check them out.
That light on there is like the North Star. It'll lead you in the right direction every time.
And it's waterproof. So that's the biggest thing. So I know some guys like to, you know, shave in the shower. Some guys like to do the split stance over the toilet, you know. So just in case you drop your shit in the toilet, you get it wet in the shower, you're gonna be fine regardless, because you know that's what it was made for.
Exactly.
So you don't have to worry about that.
And people like to question it. They're like, how does it not nick you? And how is it powerful enough to even work? Because you'd think, oh, it's going to be a slow razor that just... But it is high-powered with a 7,000 RPM motor with the quiet stroke technology. Use it anywhere. You can use it next to your partner if she was asleep. She wouldn't even wake up. That thing is quiet. So go ahead and use promo code TRP31 to get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Don't forget TRP31, manscaped.com, 20% off. Now on our show, we have Cattien Lee. Most of you guys know her as Cat from The Fighter and the Kid, the hilarious King and the Sting podcast. And she's the part of the Culture Corner. And what's up with you? I mean, you're out in LA. We were just talking about quarantine. What's going on?
Nothing much. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Oh, definitely.
I feel like nothing's really happening in LA. I'm just kind of going to work and then going home. That's it. Every now and then I'll try to sneak away and like get to a beach where I'm kind of far away from people, but that's about it. Can't do much here.
Aren't they trying to shut down the beaches though? Aren't those closed up?
They did for a while. I think during the first round of quarantines and shelter at home, they try to close down like the parks, the beach, hiking trails, and then I don't know if this is the case for sure, but I heard that Orange County sued the state and suddenly they're like, okay, we can't do that anymore.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah, Orange County does not give a fuck. If you go from LA, all you have to do is drive to Orange County. Once you get there, everyone is living a pretty normal life, I feel like. Granted, you wear masks, you still socially distance. You can do stuff in Orange County.
They're fighting back now.
It sounds like Florida. Florida's pretty much like that. I mean, I went to go get gas yesterday. There was like 10 people in the gas station. Mm-hmm. 4 people were wearing masks. So I mean, it is what it is. Florida's pretty normal in a sense. I mean, people can still go to restaurants and pretty much go out. They got clubs out here. Well, not in Orlando, but like I know Miami, they got clubs going on. Florida? You go to Miami, I bet you something going on.
The bars are open in Orlando. The bars are definitely open. I definitely.
Oh, the bars? Yeah. The bars are definitely open in Orlando. So
it's a whole different world out there.
Yeah. I mean, but it's whatever. And the thing about, like, the crazy thing about COVID is like, I feel like it sucks because you don't know who has it. It's not like the fucking Black Plague and it's like, oh, that guy has a rash, he for sure has it. Or it's not like chickenpox, oh, that guy has it. Like, it's just kind of like everybody looks pretty much healthy, everybody's cool, but it's just like you can just randomly get it. So I don't know, man. Hopefully this doesn't go on too much longer.
Like, you really don't know. It's kind of like you're playing a game of chance. Like, you walk around and suddenly you're like, oh, it's weird because I feel like people who go out of their way to kind of like go out and about during COVID and they want to live their lives as safely as possible but still go out, they usually don't get COVID. It's people who are like inside, super safe. So I wonder if it's like almost an immunity thing. Like the more you're out and exposed to the world, maybe your immunity is better. Granted, I have no idea what I'm talking about.
No, for sure. Like, I want to agree with that. It makes sense because, like, I mean, there's guys that are in the NBA who caught it, and I mean, everybody looks fine. They're just like, I don't feel anything. I just took a test and it told me I had it, and now I can't do anything. So I don't know, man. I think it's touchy. It's touchy. I don't want to say anything. It's like, well, I had somebody that was really effective, and then it's just like, all right, I understand that. Granted.
Important to be safe. It's important for everyone to follow guidelines, but at the same time, like, you can see where certain guidelines are kind of weird. There's certain rules being bent for certain people.
Exactly.
Like we can't have people come to our room. We can't go out or do anything, but at the same time, on the same foot, we can go out there and play basketball and sweat and touch each other. Like, there was a dude, we played him last week for the Mavs. Kleber. Yeah, he caught it. And the next day, we're looking on at the tape, and there's like a possession where he comes out of the timeout, he walks onto the court, coughs on both of his hands, wipes it on his jersey, puts it on his thing, then coughs again, then wipes it on his shoes, and then goes out and plays on it. And I'm just like, yeah, that's gonna happen. So I mean, we either can just like kind of live or, you know, be stuck. But
yeah,
I mean, I think I'm gonna live like Maxi Kleber and go out there and just do my thing. So fuck it.
I forgot to add to your intro. You are a YouTuber now. I saw your YouTube channel.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Talk to us about that.
For a while now, I wanted to do something where I would have, like, I guess my own area to put content out, and I didn't know what it'd be because I don't really like the, I don't know, like I get really shy in front of cameras, which is why I did terrible in school. Like I went to a theater program. On stage I was fine. The moment like you press record on something, I get really weird. And so I am in the perfect job, clearly. I just didn't want to put anything out because the cameras make me nervous, but I wanted to have my own platform at some point because it's cool to be on these podcasts and help build something up. But I wanted one thing that I can do for myself, almost like to remove myself from work, because it's cool to build something or help build something like Fire and the Kid or King and the Sting and be a part of that. But then there's always a part of you where you give so much to different projects that you want something for yourself, like your own shit, or else I feel like my like time, my identity, things that I do will always kind of be tied to this one thing. There's like not a separate section just for me and who I am. So definitely. Yeah, I decided to just post up clips that I had randomly on my phone, and some people like it.
That's how you start, man. You start, and next thing you know, you start to find a direction. So, I mean, that's all you can do.
That is definitely true, though. I mean, it's kind of like you said, we've enjoyed building our own like little brand we have, you could call it or whatever, but it's nice to put your name on something and let it grow. So with that, what's going on with King the Sting? I see they're doing different stuff with the Culture Corner, or what are you still a part of that? Are you still there every time?
I am still a part of the Culture Corner. The fun thing about King of the Sting is that it's a show that's always kind of evolving. What happened within the last few months is we started to do the Patreon, and with the Patreon, we had a talk with Brendan and Theo, and they really wanted to give everyone that worked kind of behind the scenes or in production almost like an after show where you would get on Patreon. So it's a whole nother podcast with me, Chappelle, Nick, and Chin, and then we would have guests like you guys were on. And what ended up happening was that there was so many different episodes where it felt like we would kind of run into this issue where you would talk about the same thing. Because when you speak for a living and you work on so many shows, there are only so many things you can really talk about until you kind of run out or you start repeating things. And so now that we had our own podcast on the Patreon, and then we were also on King the Sting, and then Chappelle, Brendan, Chin, and I are also on Fighter and the Kids. So it felt very much like you were getting the same show in different variations. Like you put a different title over it, but it's the same people. So the idea that Theo had, which I think is really great, is let's switch people in and out here and there and see how we can kind of switch up this show. Because it's easy to get stale and it's easy to get complacent. And even though fans initially don't really like change, I think this is ultimately good because it's just, you don't want to stay stagnant and be the same show. Like keep the core of it, the essence of it. And Chappelle and I will always be back when it's our time to be back, but we do have other spots where you can listen, which is good. I think it's just important to kind of keep evolving. Because like how many times do you watch something and then, or like you have a conversation with your friends and suddenly you start repeating these same stories and you're just having like, we need new shit to talk about. We need something.
Yeah, you're like, shut the fuck up. Like Terrence will tell me that. Like I've heard that before, you know. Shit
it's like clockwork. But that's the challenging thing. That's what makes you guys so special. So you guys are good at doing that. Like
exactly.
And that's the thing. Like we've seen so many episodes of, you know, Fighting the Kids or just, you know, whatever. Just we just came in. We just seen it where it's like that is a really good episode. We like to go to that, but at the same time, it's just, I don't know. You guys have such a great chemistry. You feel like, I don't know why, but when we watch, I feel like I'm kind of in the room too, just like on the other side of the corner, not saying much. So like even when we went on to the show, it was crazy. Like I was just kind of like, this is not real right now. This is crazy. Like, you guys had such a great setup, and you guys are so fun. Chin, Nick, those are I keep up with those guys like all the time. They're fucking hilarious. Chin, it's the singing all the music videos. Definitely loved it. It's so funny. I love it, man. You guys are so creative. And that's why we always tune in with you guys. You guys just.
It is amazing though. It is amazing though. Like you said, you guys don't really. I mean, you guys have started to have more guests on, but like it is crazy how you can go every week and not have guests and still make it entertaining. Because that's what makes it easier for us. Is that we like to do our solo episodes. Don't get me wrong. Like it is a lot of fun when it's just us talking, but it does make it easier when we can just pick someone else's brain and change the subject and have different type of people on, and it drives the show itself.
Yeah.
But it is amazing though with that. That is crazy. And shout out to having us on. If you guys haven't seen, go check out the Patreon. It was Cats After Dark. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And
Cats After Dark on Patreon. We do one once every single week.
It was fun. That was definitely an experience, being in the studio, having the lights on, being able to answer people's questions live like that. It's cool.
No, that was cool. Fun. We need the world to open back up.
I know. We wanted to come back out to LA. I mean, I was hitting you up and we're going to have you and Chappelle on.
For that. I was so excited. We're like, okay, we're going to hit another like podcast with them. We're going to do this. We're going to do a bunch of stuff. And then nothing
goes like
back up.
Nothing.
Yeah.
So do you plan on having your own podcast then? Or what's the future?
I would like to, but I think it's a situation where I don't see myself having a podcast anytime soon, just because I work on so many now. And I'm not a very in my opinion, I'm not a very interesting person. I think I have certain perspectives, but my whole job is that they only really put me on camera in the show to kind of play off of. I'm not a comedian. I'm not there to kind of sit around and make jokes. I'm there to and Theo does it, I think, the best, where he'll ask me a random question, something super out of pocket. I have no idea how to answer it, but I can come up with something that'll give him an idea to play off of, because there are certain perspectives that I'll have in my life where it's oh, this is a thing that Vietnamese people do, and it'll just trigger something in him, and then he can make a bit out of it. And that's really what the original Culture Corner was kind of set up to be. It was Derek and I just kind of throwing these ideas at them and seeing what they can play with. It wasn't necessarily for us to go on and kind of be comedians or personalities, just oh, here's a fun little bit that you can run with and make fun of, or you can do this, you can do that. We're just here to give you fresh ideas, because after a while it gets kind of okay, I made a joke about this in my set, or I did this on another podcast. So it's good to have other people to bounce little things off of that.
Even with Theo, you can say whatever and he'll just say whatever back and make some random shit up. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I've never met anyone who thinks like Theo. Never in my life. It's insane. That man is a genius.
Honestly, he has to be. I mean, because the things he said, I'm like, where's he going with this? And then it all somehow ties together in some outrageous story, and I love it.
I got to ask you, how many stories are actually true though? Because it seems like he makes you think they're so real, but they also seem so fake. But then he wraps it up and you're like, it could be real. I don't know.
That's the thing. If I'm being honest, I don't know how many of them are real, how many of them are fake. He's just one of those people where you almost know so much about him, but know nothing at the exact same time, because you don't know what's real and what's fake. Certain things are so crazy that you're that can't be fake. You couldn't have just made it up. And certain things you're okay, well, that can't be real. Theo is just the type of guy where I'll take him for face value, whatever it is, because it's hilarious. I just don't imagine anyone would make up stuff like this. I don't get it. He made a Vietnamese joke the first time I saw him on Fighter and the Kid, and he told the story about how he went to Vietnam with his college that he went on a see abroad semester with. And he went to a pet store that was a whorehouse in the back, and the parent was saying fuck me. And it's just insane. I don't believe it, but at the same time it's so weird that I'm I don't care. It probably is, and I have no idea.
Oh man. It is.
Okay, so keep going. Sorry.
No, go on.
So how did it all happen? How did you start up with Fighter and the Kids and King and the Sting?
Well, I graduated from college in 2018, and at that point, I was already kind of into podcasts. I was watching Joe Rogan, Fighter and the Kids, and Tiger Belly around the time when, who was it? MC Punk went from WWE and tried to go to the UFC. And somehow in my like YouTube algorithm, a Joe Rogan podcast came up, and I saw a fight companion of them talking about it. And I used to be like super into WWE as a kid, so I knew who MC Punk was.
Sorry, CM Punk.
There we go. I was like,
I wasn't gonna say anything. I was like MC Punk. CM, got it.
Absolutely, CM Punk. There we go. But like I knew of him, so I was like, oh, like he's gonna go to UFC. This is weird. And then once I saw a fight companion, I saw Brian and Brendan, and I just fell in love with podcasts shortly after that. When I graduated, I had nothing to do. I had a theater degree that I only got because I wanted to leave home, and like my Asian parents wouldn't let me leave like the area that I grew up in unless it was for something huge. To them, they're like, okay, you got into a good school, so go there, and then once you graduate, come back home. And now I have like a theater degree that won't really get me anywhere. So I ended up DMing different podcasts, and I DM'd, I think Tiger Belly, I DM'd Theo, and the only person who got back to me was Brendan. Brendan was like, oh, you graduated, cool. Well, do you want to come sit in for a interview, and we'll go ahead and see where it goes from there. I ended up sitting in during a Below the Belt episode with who was it? It was a huge fight at the time. I think it was the guy on team who used to be on Team Alpha Male, and then he left. There's a whole beef. Blonde monster.
Heavyweight? Is he big?
No. Smaller dude. Fought against
not Uriah Faber. No, who's
not Uriah Faber. He fought Uriah Faber and
TJ Dillashaw.
Yes, TJ Dillashaw. There
Good job, Steven. Good job.
We've been playing UFC a lot.
Yeah. I sat through a interview with him, and Brendan just asked me, do you like what you just experienced? Like, you sat down, you list up podcasts, you post stories, and like, I'll give you more jobs as you go. But if you want the job is yours. So I started doing that. I was an intern for Fighter and the Kid. And over time, I think Brendan and I get along so well. He's like my big brother. He just kind of started putting me on all his projects. Because there's, I think, a level of like trust that needs to be in the room of like, we're going to say like some stupid shit because this is a super broy podcast. Like, just don't judge us. Don't make us feel uncomfortable. Just be cool. And once they found that, they were like, okay, cool. Like, put her on whatever else we're working on. That's how I got all my jobs.
So were you shocked when he replied? Like, how big of like, did you have like a big, I know you have a big following on Instagram now, but what was it like at that time? Like, how did he notice you?
Insane. Because I had, I think 120 followers at the time. Like, I was like, literally like, it was friends and family. That's it. And he opened up my DM, and I think I was in the car with my ex-boyfriend at the time, and I like audibly gasped. I was like, and he just looked over like, what's wrong? What happened? I was like, Brendan Schaub opened my DM. I don't know what to do. And from there, I didn't think it was real. Like, the job was so far out of like what I thought I could ever get to, that when he responded, I was like, well, this is enough. If I didn't get a job, he opened my DM, and that's absolutely enough for me. Definitely. But I ended up making like a whole career out of it, which is really cool.
That's fucking dope.
Yeah, because honestly, that's how we felt when we like reached out to you guys and you guys responded back. So I was like, oh my God, going crazy. I was like, this is it. We made it. We're on our way. We're going in the right direction. So, and then they were like, yeah, come on the show. We're just like, no, this isn't happening. We were so hyped for that whole trip. It was like the best thing ever.
That's hilarious. You guys came to the studio super cool, and we're like, oh my God, this is so cool. We have like 2 great guests. It was fun. It was easy. And suddenly you guys are like, I can't believe we're on here. We're like, what? You can't believe we're on here. It
was unreal because like, I didn't really start listening to podcasts till maybe around like 2019, maybe like 2020. So like, I started out just how I feel like everybody starts out with the Joe Rogan podcast. And then through there, you kind of get like filtered through this one, this and that. Cause like my favorites ended up being Joe Rogan, Tiger Belly, then King and the Sting, and like this past weekend. And then all of a sudden I'm just like, okay, this is pretty cool. And this is around the time he was like, yo, let's start our own. I'm just like, sure, whatever. And then I'm getting all of my podcast information and knowledge straight from you guys. So I'm just like, this is crazy. And then when you guys like responded to us, I was like, oh my God, I was just like complete fanboy for a little bit. I was just like, this is not happening. We ended up coming out there, hanging out with you guys. And the next thing you know, hey, we're, 27 episodes later, and we have Cat back on the show, and it's, it's going well. So I kind of know the feeling.
Definitely. So we wanted to have you on because obviously you're a female that has a lot of followers, so you get a lot of DMs, and we want to help our guys out in, relationship advice. And so we have some of our own questions, and we have a bunch of fan questions. They were eager to ask you some questions that you already know they're in your DMs. So, All right. So one of the first ones from us is, so if you're in an argument, so arguments are really big in relationships. And so do you prefer the guy to either continue to like pressure it, walk away, or like try to make it right and suck up right away? What do you prefer?
Okay, if I'm being completely honest, I want a man to suck come and suck it up and be like, I'm sorry, babe. And
like right away?
Like that's what I want, but I know that's not right. Like logically, I know that's not how shit works. And that's not how a good, healthy, functioning relationship should work. But that's what I want.
That's what you want.
Now, if I'm being realistic of what happens, I'm not someone who really argues. I'm not somebody who will scream at you, yell at you, or even put up much of a fight. I get really quiet and I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna chill out and not say anything. That tends to make people nervous. So that's when they're like, oh shit, she's not saying anything. This is terrible. For whatever reason, I think guys I've been in relationships or dating in the past have been through where girls yelling, throwing shit, cussing, telling you I hate you, you ain't shit. And then they meet me, and the moment we get in an argument, I'm like, okay, cool. And you won't hear from me for a day or two, depending on how long you can withstand not talking to me. Usually they eventually get to me and they're like, hey, are you good? Are we good? And I'm like, yeah, we're good. Sometimes. But I'm not someone who will yell or scream or throw shit.
That's almost worse. That's almost
it's way worse
when they're quiet. That's the thing is so if you're quiet, then what do you want them to do? Be quiet? But like you said, you want them to suck up to you.
Yeah, I want them to suck up to me, but realistically, as long as you kind of come at me with a different energy, hey, I'm done fighting. If we can have a conversation about what went wrong, usually within the next hour or two, I'm cool. I just need to know that we're gonna be in a calm energy space. You're not gonna try to yell at me. You're not gonna try to tell me all this crazy nonsense, and we're cool. I'm usually not someone who holds on to grudges. I don't like fighting. Fighting is too much for my heart. I have a
That's so much worse though. The quiet type and the girls that go silent on you is terrifying, because then you're just I have no idea what's going on in their head. I am probably going to misread the entire situation. And then by the end of it, you're just kind of I don't it's just worse. At least with somebody that's they're going to snap on you and go crazy. They're wearing all their emotions and everything's on the table and it's all on their sleeve. So you can pretty much guess what you did. But if you start to get quiet, I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'm just oh shit, something's really wrong, and I'm not the type of guy that's gonna. Well, I try to be, but
it is.
It's a scary thing, man. It's scary. It's like approaching a bomb.
It is. It's like reverse psychology, though. You start to be quiet, and then the guy starts to get in his head. And like you said, Terrence, you just overanalyze it. It's I'd rather just I'd rather take a slap to the face and just get the argument over.
Just tell me what I did right now. Don't make me wait.
So what do you guys do in a fight? Are you guys the type to go and apologize right away, wait it out, have her come apologize? What do you guys do?
You go first, Terrence.
Man, I'm married, so I've been I feel like I've been through it all when it comes to trying to figure out what to do. But it's crazy. I can tell my wife's mood almost better than mine. If she's not talking, I don't know, just I can always sense when something's wrong, and then there's a list of steps I have to go through. Okay, hey babe. If it's just hey, okay, you understand there's something going on. If she's not reciprocating that babe language, then that could be a red flag. And then it comes to the are you okay? I haven't had a hug, or are you okay? And then it's kind of no, I'm fine. And then you automatically know, all right, now you got to start to backtrack. What did you do? What didn't you do? What's today? Did you forget something? And then it comes to the point where after a day of just not talking, I'm just I can't, I gotta bug her until she just pretty much explodes on me. But that's my steps.
Yeah, I think I kind of evolved from being someone that would try to almost ADD. I would try to hop on the problem right away.
Yeah.
And then And like you said, it depends the woman and the girl. Like, and then now I'm to the point where it's like I'm giving it some time, and I just let it breathe, because like how Terrence said, like after a day of not talking, you can bug them and they're not going to be as irritated. But if you start bugging them right away and they're in the irritated mode, it never goes well, and it leads to
he's lying.
No,
he's
I'm
lying.
not lying. I'm not lying
because
him out?
I'm calling him out because even if he thinks I'm mad about something, whoa, he will spaz on it.
That's sarcasm. That's sarcasm. That's sarcasm.
Well, that's what that is. No, you can't use sarcasm.
I'm very sarcastic.
Trying to figure out if he does it to me, then he's doing it to the ladies. Like he's not going to be like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. Like, and first of all, it's hard for guys just come out and be like, oh, babe, I'm so sorry. Like
it is.
Guys get to that after they've been with the girl for a while, and you kind of like been kind of trained or conditioned to do that. But like right out the gate, we've been dating for a couple months, oh yeah, if you ghost me for 2 days, I was young and I was petty enough to probably ghost you back regardless if I'm in the wrong or not. So I didn't like that game, but that was just me. But yeah, this guy spazzes.
No, I'm
big spaz.
Like to be brutally honest right away, and sometimes that's why I've tried to teach myself to just let things chill, and I've actually done better. Maybe sometimes with you, yeah, we're doing the podcast, I'm trying to get you to do shit. Yeah, sometimes it's tough, man.
Nah,
I gotta be on you. I gotta be on you.
Nah, I see the signs.
Okay, let's move on to the next question. Why is it so tough for women to decide where and what they want to eat? I deal with this.
Oh my God, yes.
I deal with this all the time.
We know what we want to eat, but we don't want to say it. I honestly have no idea why. Because every time somebody asks me, what do I want to eat? I'm like, I know I want Chick-fil-A, but I won't say Chick-fil-A for some reason. I'm like, oh no, like, I'll eat anything. What do you want? And then the moment they say it, I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I'm like, maybe it's a psychological thing. Like, you gotta, I don't even know.
Okay. So now that you say that,
I do know what I want to eat.
So if you know that, and let's say a guy asks you, is it different when your friend asks you? Because I feel like with the women I've been with, it's like if they're around their friends, they will be more assertive and leader, like hey, let's go do this. But then if I say something, it's like, I don't know, you decide. I'm like, what? Like, why is it always me?
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. With my friends, I'll always tell them what I want. But with the guy I'm dating, especially if it's new, I think subconsciously I want to seem easygoing and like, oh, well, I'll go with the flow, whatever you want. But I know what I want. And I know what you said isn't what I want, but I won't say it. I don't know what it is. It's a terrible habit.
It is a torture.
I saw something on Instagram. A guy says, the best way to figure out what your girlfriend wants to eat is to tell her, guess where I'm taking you to dinner tonight? And actually guess the first thing that she wants. And so you're like, yeah, that's where we're going to go. Like Chick-fil-A, cool. That's exactly what I had planned.
Life hack, fellas.
Life hack.
We do know what we want to eat, though.
Shout out, Cat. Life hack. Yeah, we need that one.
Is that so?
That as soon as I get home.
So is it the same when you're watching stuff? Because I feel like it's the same when I'm trying to pick a movie or decide like, hey, what do you want to watch? And it's always you pick it out. Or how are you with that? Is watching what the content you want to watch?
Question: Are you because trust me, like my girl, I know what she wants. I feel like I know what every girl wants to watch. Is some form of reality TV. It could be anything from HGTV to Cooking Channel to like Keeping Up with the Kardashians, but it's usually along that lines. And I feel like for guys, we're pretty much like, let's watch, action movie, this, that, but most, I feel like the ladies are really going for like reality TV.
I think it depends on my mood. Like there are certain days when I want to watch something and not think about anything at all. I'll watch reality TV. So I'll watch like Love and Hip Hop, Love Island, or like a cooking show when I just don't want to have to use my brain. But for the most part, if I want to watch something that I enjoy, right now I'm on like scary movies. I want to watch shit that will scare me. But I'm terrible because I won't actually watch the movie. I'll be on my phone for most of it. When it's like a scary part, I know it's coming up. I'll like kind of look through Instagram and for my peripheral, like keep an eye on the TV so I don't get scared shitless. And that's like basically what I do.
What's the latest scary movie that you've watched?
Netflix had a good one. For some reason, they're doing a lot of like international movies that they're then dubbing into English. So I watch Money Heist. That's a really good show on Netflix. Amazing show.
Great show. Great show.
Great show.
I have
following.
I have problems with the dubbing the voices. I don't know why, but it's hard to watch. Yes, it bugs me. I don't know why, if it's just because I have ADD or whatever. Like I just watch their lips and it's not synced up and it just irritates me for some reason. I don't know. I can force myself through it, but
after a while with Money Heist, you kind of forget. The first like 30 minutes is a little rough if that's an issue.
You gotta shake that rust off of reading. You gotta just get through that and do it, because I'm going through the same thing right now. I just started like watching a whole bunch of like anime, and it's all in Japanese. I'm just like, fuck. It's like, just like, what did you say?
Do you like it when it's dubbed over with an American voice or subtitles?
Well, I mean, with anime it's a little easier. I mean, it's easier with the dubbed, just because it's not really off sync. But I can understand with like a live action show, especially because what Money Heist takes place in like Spain.
Yeah, Spain.
Yeah. So like that's a little different, and you can clearly see that it's a little off. But I mean, for the most part, I mean, it's not too much of a problem for me.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta read a little bit, but
no, for sure. All right, this kind of ties back into the first one. So let's say you're in a bad mood that's not related to your significant other. What would you like your significant other to do? You want them to ask you questions? You want to dig deeper? What?
I think my go-to is like, get me a snack and like cuddle for a while. Like I want food and like physical affection until I'm like, okay, I'm good again. Like those are my two things. Like if you get me like a few donuts, like maybe like coffee with it, and you hold me for an hour, I'll be fine. I'll be good.
What about flowers? Are you a flower? Do you like flowers?
I do like flowers. The only issue with flowers is that I'm allergic to pollen, so like I'll look at it from afar.
You got it.
Put it in the case.
Okay. Yeah, put it in a case far away.
Beauty and Beast it up.
That is interesting, I guess. I mean, a lot of times when things are bad, you tend to get gifts. I feel like that's something that always works. Instead of asking like more questions, I don't know, because sometimes you bring up the issue more and it's like something they don't want to talk about. I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes like I won't want to. I think for the most part, when there is something wrong, I don't always want to talk about it. If I come into a room that my significant other is in and something's bothering me that I want to talk about, I'll just talk about it right away. But if I walk in and I'm just kind of in a bad mood, I clearly don't want to talk about it. I want to eat. I want to eat until I forget my feelings and watch fucking hip hop while you hug me. That's what it is.
Yeah, get the snack, get the popcorns, and get ready for
I want to watch somebody
cuddle fest.
Some terrible bars on Love and Hip Hop New York, and I want to watch two bitches fight and eat a donut, and I'm good. Like that's what I want if I'm not telling you the problem outright.
Man, Kat, you seem super easygoing, and I'm like, God, I know some guys are like, yeah, my girl is not just like, give me a snack and hold me. She's like, bitch, go get me some fucking white wine and fucking get out of my face for 2 hours. Like, I don't know, right?
All right, so let's help out our guys here. So, what is something that a guy can say to you when you first meet him that will turn you off? Like, what is something like?
Bad first impression.
Yeah, like what is a very bad first impression that you get typically, like a lot, that is just like, don't do this?
Or what's the worst one you've had?
Oh, she's had some bad ones.
The first one I have, like the thing is I never really get hit on in public. It's usually in my DMs. So I don't know what it is, but like I've never been the type of girl to get hit on in public when I'm out and about living life, before or after the podcast. It's usually people like, oh shit, it's Kat from the podcast. Hey, what's up? Like, we're cool. But nobody really hits on me. Actually, there was one guy in Nashville when Theo and Brendan were performing at Zany's recently. There was a fan, and granted, he seems like a really nice guy. He was just drunk and on one. He came by the merch booth where Jay and my boyfriend Stevie were selling shirts. And at this time, like I just kind of like announced or posted on Instagram that like I was dating Stevie, and this guy, a fan, comes up and people were kind of taking photos saying hi, and he started to like hit on me in like a drunk way. It wasn't like he was really flirting. He was just kind of like saying shit to see if anything stuck, and he was trying to buy a shirt. So Jay sold him a shirt, and he's like, you know, you're really pretty, but what is your boyfriend gonna think? And I was like, I don't know. Do you want to ask him? He's like, can I get a photo? Like, yeah, you can get a photo. So he and I took a photo, and he's like, can we make your boyfriend take it? gonna be funny.
Oh god.
The nuts on that guy. The balls on this guy.
That's the drunk.
Okay. So that was just like a weird occurrence. I never have people hit on me. I'm not the type of girl who like gets stopped in the middle of the street unless it's a really old man. I don't know what it is. Old men like me.
Well, that's different. Old guys, that's all they had to go on back in the day. They can't, they couldn't slide in DMs the same way that, young guys could now. They had to go do other things, face action. So
that's what guys are, I think, smoother though when they hit on women, just because they have that face-to-face experience. I think a lot of guys now are more used to kind of DMing, sending like a wave emoji, the eye emoji, and that's like, what's good. Whereas,
that's how it goes. Yeah, like okay, there you go.
You okay?
That's the thing is like it's the generation difference. Like, is that our thing with generation now? It's like we'd rather text. People would rather just text and say how they feel than almost say it to their people's faces.
I feel like we're right in the middle of that. We're the generation that's like the two of them. So like, I mean, we could go, if we had enough confidence back in junior high, we could walk up to a girl like, hey, you're cute. Or, now it's just like, I'm sure guys are like, just let me slide the DMs and just hope for the best. And I feel like that's the other thing. Guys probably have to you have to meet a guy in the DMs. You probably have to meet a guy and then kind of talk to him for a while. And then when you guys meet in person, it might not be weird, but you can't just go from, hey, hi, let's meet up, and then that's when it gets awkward. That's when it's just like,
I would never do that. I feel like I need too much prep if it's in the DMs. I need to know who you are before I come. It's almost better if you get on me in person. Like I'm less likely to expect to know more about you that way.
Yeah. So what's the best way to slide into the DMs then? Is it something funny? Like do you say a funny quote?
If it's something funny, then yes. Recently, there have been a lot of people who will send me an emoji of like their dog or like the dog emoji, and they're like, "Oh, come here, Max. Sorry, I lost my dog. He slipped in your DM." Oh, wow.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
God damn it. Get off the leash again. How you doing? My name's Terrence. Yeah. Got it.
All of our followers are about to use that now for sure.
That's
all
clever.
The guys. Very clever.
It's kind of like the thing that Quavo did with Saweetie, where he sent her like a snowflake. A bunch of guys started doing that shortly after.
Really?
Have you guys seen that?
No. You start saying snowflakes? What does that even mean?
Like Saweetie, her whole branding is that she's an icy girl, and so when Quavo first slid in her DMs, he sent her a snowflake to represent like icy, and
got it. That's
essentially bagged her. And then
only Quavo.
This is what we got to do, and a bunch of other people were like, "Well, you got to also remember that's Quavo. That's not.
That's the biggest thing.
That's not.
He could have.
Yeah.
He could have sent poop emojis for all we, and it would have got her attention.
Absolutely.
So,
all right, now we got some fan questions. These will really get interesting. We can all chime in on this and see if we can help these people with these wild questions. SRFNS, I don't know what that means. This is a dude. He says, "I want to try one more time with my baby mom. How do I convince her?"
Ooh, that's a tough one. I feel like once you are done with the baby mom, like the first time, like she kind of has an idea that she doesn't want to be with you anymore, and vice versa. No? Because I hear about stories of like people going back to their like baby daddy or like baby mama, but in like a hookup situation, like, oh, like we hooked up again, but not necessarily like we're gonna get back together.
Well, it's funny because both of us are on that end of it.
Yeah.
Where we had a baby.
This question probably, needs a little more context.
For sure.
She just left you because like
whatever.
What did you do? What did you do?
Whatever the thing was.
Yeah, so I mean, we probably need a little more context. But if I had to guess, but just by the way you phrased that question, I'm just gonna say, get your shit together. Get your shit together. Stop fucking around, and you might have a chance. That's gonna be mine. I don't know.
Okay. No, I'm definitely with you on that, man. We've been through it. There's a reason why you guys broke up in the first place, and it's either you didn't have your shit together, you weren't ready to settle down, so you have to prove that back to her. So that's really my
literally one of those two things, guy.
Yeah,
you didn't even have to ask Kat. You could have just sent that straight to our DMs. We're like, we just easy, just stop fucking.
All right, let's go to the next one. Dogs and grilled stuff. I don't know, that's the username, but I don't know. This one's specifically for Kat, and it is, when you gonna let Stevie pimp out your feet? We know the whole OnlyFans people are with your feet.
Oh my God, I went and got my nails done today and I posted up a photo. I just think it's funny when I like will put like a blurb of like my feet and my nails and I'll blur out the feet. I put up a poll just to see because realistically, like I've heard so many stories of people making money off of OnlyFans and I'm like, that's great. Make your money. That's amazing. But like I could never get myself to do it. And now I'm like, well, we are in a pandemic. It'd be nice to get some extra money. I don't know.
Just your feet? Do
the
people
feet
blow
business
you up?
is a serious business.
Just a foot. Like I've talked about this with like both my parents. My mom told me that I shouldn't be doing it. I'm missing out on a bunch of money. And in my head, I'm like, well, let me ask my dad and see what he thinks of it. He probably have a funny answer, but would be ultimately like opposed to it. He's like, what? Why would people want to see your feet? Is this like an American thing? Like are Americans into feet? I don't know. But my dad thinks it's a good idea too. He's like, what? You take a photo of your feet and people are gonna pay you for it? Like, absolutely. What are you doing? This is the American dream. Go for it. It's
a serious business. I'm not into it. I have a cousin that is, but he's a weirdo. And he's like, when he told me the foot thing, I had to look. I'm like, oh, it's not a joke. Got it. But then I've seen people like girls like, yeah, I post feet and this and that, and it not even nothing sexual. It's just literally their feet. Hundreds of thousands of followers, and it's just like, and OnlyFans, somebody's gonna show up. Somebody's gonna show up regardless. So that's a lot of money, bro. Yeah.
Who knows? I put a poll out today, and apparently, like 3,000 people are like, "Yes, post your feet. We will buy them." Like
3,000 people said yes.
Yeah, within
it's
like
time.
2 hours, I was like, "Ooh, what?"
And you don't even have to make it expensive. You can make your subscription fee $10. That's 3,000. If you got 3,000 people to do that, you're gonna start raking it in, and then you charge them on top of that.
I don't think he knew the math. I don't think he didn't know the math.
I was thinking about. I mean, $30K to show your feet. That's just to subscribe, and then you throw another 10 on for you put to unlock this post of my feet. I mean, this
right. You want to watch me step on some cake?
Oh my god!
Yo,
that's another thing. Like I went down like a rabbit hole of different, like the reason why people are into feet. Like I just wanted to understand when people started asking me for photos of my feet before I said anything on the podcast. I didn't know what the desire was. So I went down this rabbit hole and I saw girls like stepping on like food, stepping on faces. Like I still don't really get it, but it looks like fun. It looks like
research.
I can step on a cake and get $10 for every time somebody wants to watch it. By all means.
Step on some grapes, make some wine.
Yo, she could probably make so much money.
Oh, so much money, bro.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, this is a podcast where you guys convinced me to start a feet only channel.
Yes.
And there's the title.
This is the podcast.
There's the title. Cat starts the Only Feet Fans. Got it.
No, you start your own website. Fuck that. Don't even make your own money.
Girl.
For real.
True. Very true. Get the middleman out.
We'll shout you out. Shit. Hell yeah.
Terrence will take it to the NBA, get some NBA money in there, huh?
Oh, hell yeah.
That's just a ton of these tall motherfuckers with foot fetishes, man. Has to be.
The nice thing about people who are into feet is they're all very nice. They're all super kind and respectful people so far. The ones in my DMs, at least.
It's
you have to be.
It's a weird
you have to be. How do you tell somebody I like feet? And they're just like, I told you, my cousin told me that. I was like, huh? Oh, all right, that's different. And then now he's just like, it's a thing. Like people are getting caked out here from posting their feet. It's a lucrative business. If I had nice feet and people were like, I would love to see your feet for money, I'd be holding myself out after every game. After every game, here's a picture of my feet.
But they look like talons off a falcon, so
yeah, they don't look great now. They're bad.
I found out that there are like subgenres within that kind of world where people do want to see like dirty feet, fucked up feet. It's weird. It's so weird. There's like a little niche for everyone. There's a niche for like girls with tattooed feet. So it's like very specific.
Oh boy.
It reminds me of Seinfeld, the hand model.
That might get me into the foot game. What's going on? Let me put this poll up.
All right, next one. D_Royal3030. A girl I dated told me she was pregnant and I'm not ready to be the dad. What should I do?
Well, first of all, are you the dad? Like, it's one thing to be a dad, but are you the child's dad, first of all? And two, like, does she want to keep it? That's big...
tough.
Guys, you guys have to give us more context on these questions. God, you can't just give us... Yeah, man.
It is tough.
I mean, is very, very sacred. I think bringing a child into the world is huge, and not something should be taken lightly at all. And I think you should really consider whether you would be able to give a child the quality of life that it deserves. I think that's a big thing. Like, you don't have to have a lot. Like, I have so many single moms in my family who went above and beyond to raise their kids by themselves and did amazing jobs. It's really about if you can do that for another human, because that's a life you're bringing into this world. Like, you really have to kind of weigh out the good and the bad. But ultimately, it's her body. She's gonna have it regardless of whether you want it or not, if that's what she wants.
And it says a girl I dated. So does that mean they broke? That must mean they broke up, and she's coming back to him saying,
"Well, yeah." That could also mean, you need to figure out who else she dated when she wasn't dating you, and see if you know what I mean. Because you don't want to go through all that and just to be like, "Yeah, I'm black, she's white, and our baby's like, half white and Asian." Like, it's not. Yeah, something's going on.
It's good that
you gotta.
It's good that he knows though, because I had a buddy that found out once the baby was like 9 months old. And he got the girl pregnant in college, and I had my daughter when I was in college, and so he was telling me the same thing, and he's like, "Oh, I just found out I had a kid. She just told me." I'm like, "What the fuck is going on?" Like, that's insane.
That's wild.
But
use a condom, guys.
Use a condom.
Trojan, sponsor us.
Trojan, please, us and little baby. This is the next one by Christopher Allen. I don't know. Is that Allen?
Fucking these names up.
Well, they'll know because it's their question. But big fan of King of the Sting. I just wondered advice to a guy on keeping it interesting. And I'll take this a little bit further, especially in the pandemic. It's hard. I know a lot of friends that are like, it's impossible to meet people. We can text with them, especially if you're in certain cities. People have different views where they're like, I'm not leaving the house. I'm not going to hang out with you because you're not, who knows with the vaccine and if you have COVID. So how do you keep it interesting? How do you keep someone engaged?
That's the thing. Like, I don't know. I feel like the best way for someone to keep me engaged is if we're into the same shit. But I think as long as you kind of actively show interest in a woman and you kind of just like want to get to know her more. I feel like a lot of women like having individualistic like attention from a man. At least I do. I really like when a guy is like, I want to get to know you and your likes and your dislikes. Even if I don't like him, I'll end up liking him eventually. Just because I know this is the man that like is putting in time and effort into me. Like, that matters to me. That a guy, even if I don't like him initially, is like, oh, I still want to get to know you and like see how your day was and this and that. Like, that's how my boyfriend and I are together now. Like, I didn't want anything to do with him.
He just kind of wore you down.
Like, I would respond to him like once every single day through Instagram DM because I was trying to be nice and he was friends with my bosses, and he just kept doing that for like months and months. Finally, one day I was just up late at night, like I couldn't fall asleep, and I was talking to him, getting to know him, he's getting to know me, and after that night I was like, oh, I like this guy. Like, he wore me down just by,
he wore you down. Yeah.
Asking me like, oh, how's your day? What are you up to? What's your favorite food? And then like 3 months later, I'm like, oh, you're a cool dude.
Yeah, that's how it goes, man. Guys, wear them down. Stay persistent,
Okay, no. But the question with that though is, so if it's a new relationship, you guys are just talking, let's say you're not even in a relationship, how many times should someone text you or like get in contact with you? Let's say if you don't respond. So let's say I send you a text, you say something, you don't say it back. How many times is too much, and what should that limit be?
I feel like if you send a girl a text and she doesn't respond, I say give it a few hours, maybe in like half a day, give her like another text, just like, hey, I want to see what you're up to, or like just something to throw out a feeler to see if she's actually busy or if she doesn't want to talk to you. Because I feel like if you double text her after a few hours, she doesn't want to talk to you. She doesn't. She absolutely doesn't. Because after the second text, if she wants to talk to you, she'll hit you up and say like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm busy right now, but whatever. Like, she'll kind of give you an update. If she doesn't give you an update, she doesn't want to talk to you. She's not.
Oh, that hurts. That hurts just hearing. That hurts just hearing. Like, thank God I'm married. I don't have to ever go through that again.
That's rough though. Like you see them on social media, but they don't respond to your text. That's rough.
Oh, the red.
Those used to hurt.
Yeah,
Those used to hurt when they had like the little online thing on Instagram for a little bit, and then it's just like, yeah, good night, green light. I'm like, oh, yeah, it happens.
All right, this next one's wild.
Open your DM. That's rough too.
That's
like
rough.
you know they see it, but they're like, no, I don't even want to know what he's talking about.
That hurts. My heart hurts.
That's rough. This one's from Tom Henry TN. I don't know if this is even real, but he said, "How do I tell a girl I like her older sister more?"
Ooh,
what's the age difference?
Like,
more context, bro. These next questions have to be like in depth. Tell us, like,
next time we have Kat on, we need more in depth questions.
Because if it's like an older sister, are you like a teenager and she's like the older sister in college? Like, what's going on there? Either way, if you're dating a girl and you like her older sister,
the odds of that. The odds.
First of all, don't ever tell her that. Don't tell her that. Like, I know you think honesty is like, there's some things, honesty is good and all, but like, bro, there's no good that can come out of it. You're definitely, like, what do you think you're gonna do? Tell her that you don't like her and you like her older sister? Her older sister's gonna be thrilled to hear that? Like, no, bro. You're gonna get blackballed from that family. So
that's really what it is. They're both gonna think you're a piece of shit, even though like you can't help your feelings.
Yeah.
There are certain things you should probably keep to yourself.
Just bottle it up and just keep that shame to yourself. Don't ever. I'm ashamed that you said it now. Don't let them find out.
There's sometimes though that crazy shit happens though, where you end up seeing someone marry their sister or like, and they dated. Yeah. And there is weird situations like that. I've definitely seen it, and you're like, how does that even happen?
Arkansas and Mississippi and the down south, like not in the new day and age where people are dating each other's in-laws and cousins and stuff. Guy run away.
If they're just dating, like let's say this guy is dating the younger sister and it's not going well, you gotta break it off. Like don't stick around with this girl because you're trying to hang out with her sister at some point. Like break it off, like just kind of give that girl some space to kind of get over you and move on. And maybe like a few months down the road or like slowly just kind of keep up with the sister, like, hey, how are you? Just want to like check up, see how you were, like kind of be on that like friend level, but try to sneak in. That's the only way I can see it working. Like,
you gotta hit the back door sometimes. Yeah, nah, bro.
Wait
it's
5
not
years.
Going.
Wait 5 years.
If you wait 5 years,
it's over.
And you break up with that girl, it's 5 years go by, and then you hit her sister or even like a picture, and your ex sees that. That's the first thought that's into her head. Girls in their intuition, it figures it out as soon as they get the thought. So
yeah, as soon as you like her sister's photo, she's gonna be like, "Oh, this red flag. Wanted my older sister." Okay, absolutely.
The hindsight start coming in place, and they start to get that whole like realization of, you fucking piece of shit, you like my sister, and then now.
That happened to my sister and I and one of our friends actually when I first started working for the podcast. There is, I'm not gonna say this guy's name. So there is somebody who listens to the Fire and the Kid and King the Sting, who at first I saw and noticed his account because this guy DM'd me and he was verified. So I was like, oh, okay, who is this? And it's a guy who turns out to be a very nice guy, but he was kind of like on some like fuck shit initially because he would DM me and I would respond being nice because he liked the show, and he would try to hit on me. At this time I had a boyfriend, and so I wasn't interested. I wasn't really entertaining it. A few weeks go by and my sister's like, hey, do you know this person? And sends me the account, like a screenshot of the Instagram account, because that guy follows me. And I was like, oh, this is the guy who's like trying to slide in my DM. She's like, why? And then she sends me the DMs that he sent to her. And a few days later, my sister gets a text from our mutual friend, another girl that we grew up with. And she's like, hey, do you guys know this person? And it's the same guy. It's like the same verified account who's like going through my social media, finding my sister, and then finding our friend and like hitting all of us up at the same time. God, he's a nice dude, but he was on some fuck shit.
Dude, that's not the case. And he just, oh God, all three, that's not what you want, bro. No. You can't talk your way out of that.
No.
That's a bad look. Now you fucked over 3 chances with 3 girls, and girls talk. So like within that friend group or that community, like people know you're an asshole. Or at least they think you're an asshole. You might be a great guy with just some terrible situated feelings, but you're gonna be like an asshole.
Yeah, he has a stain on him now. That's a stain.
And he knows who he is now because he knows that situation. But
shame.
All right, last one.
That girl or the older sister doesn't listen to this podcast.
And they probably don't.
Oh God,
they probably
too
don't.
much.
We're at the bottom of it. Last one. Win_2711. He says, "Does the girl that has you in the friend zone usually know you're desperate to get out?"
Yes, absolutely. Every single girl knows if a guy in the friend zone likes her. And that's usually why she put him in. You're in the friend zone because she knows that you want her. It's never a situation where she doesn't know and she's just trying to be buddy. Like, girls always know. We play dumb and say, "Oh, I never thought, like, I didn't know he likes me. I thought he was just being super friendly." We know that's bullshit. We know every single man who wants to date us, but we put in the friend zone and then we act dumb to try to like sweep it under the rug. Like, no, bud, we're best friends. He's like my brother. But we know.
What's the point of that, man? The friend zone is like pretty much a death row. Like, it's either going to work or it's not. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, "Oh, well, yo, you don't like me. Okay, this is your new boyfriend." Like, no, if that happens to me, never hear from me again. I have to keep my pride. That's too much, man. Mm-hmm. It's like purgatory. It's limbo. You don't want to be there.
You don't want to be there because, like, what's gonna happen? Like, you're playing this super terrible long game that eventually she'll break up with these guys, and like 5 years down the line, she's like, "I'm gonna give him a chance," and you guys are gonna fall in love. It could happen, but do you want to spend 5 years waiting?
Yeah, it's not The Office. Nobody wants to go through that.
You're not Pam and Jim. Like, this isn't the situation you think it is.
Don't be Jim. Terrence, well, have you ever like had feelings for a girl and then she like friends on you and you stayed friends with her? Has it never happened to you, or is it you've always gone in with just you're just friends with a girl? Because I know you've been friends with just girls.
Yeah, I've been friends with girls, but like, I mean, bro, that's the thing though. Like, you know when a girl's gonna try to put you in the friend zone, and you know, like, if the girl's not feeling you. And for me, like, I've never liked that. Like, oh, like, we're just gonna be, you know, if I like you and we're just gonna be friends, and it's
true.
I had to play. Like, I never was gonna play that long game. I just rather just try to move on as best I could and just, you know, just stay solid. But at the same time, I don't know, man. It's I'll tell you this, it's way better when you end up having a friend that, like, a female friend that's like truly platonic and it's just, you know, the homie. That is like a truly special feeling when, you know, you guys are both honestly just friends and that's it.
Yeah.
But like, if one of the feelings is off, somebody likes you know, one person at one time or the other, like, it gets a little tricky and it's just like, then somebody's gonna be in the friend zone at some point and you're gonna it's gonna just fall to shit. But either way, just fuck that friend zone shit, bro. For the birds. Guys, if you're in there, swallow your fucking pride, take a shot of Henny and just run for the hills. Get out of there.
Do you guys think guys and girls can be friends? Because I feel like there are people who are like very strongly on one side or the other. Like, yes, they can, or no, they can't. Like, do you guys think girls and guys can just strictly be friends?
Well, I'll talk. Well, yeah, like, I've had friends in the past, you know, ladies that just like, we're just cool. Like, we just like the same shit. We, you know, watch the same type of movies. We like the same music. We got the same humor, and that's cool. Like, and we have like, and it helps when you have other mutual friends that are like guys, whenever, and then like nobody's kind of like hitting on anybody, and it's cool. That helps. But at the same time, it's, I don't know. It's just that platonic shit. It's hard to find. I'll tell you that. Like, because, you know, we're guys and girls. It's usually, you know, it's that connection thing always going. But
yeah,
when you find it, it's cool though.
I think nowadays too, it's definitely a lot harder just because of just how social media is. It's different like when you're just all hanging around all the time and it's not on your phones. But now it's like you're meeting up with a chick just because you've obviously been talking about something before. You know what I mean? Or you have plans to do something. It's not just like a chill. I don't know. You're just not in that environment as much anymore.
Yeah, it helps when you meet like girls with other people, and it's not just like on some late night third shit. You know, it's usually you got to pick a lane left or right, and it's, you know, you can't go middle sometimes. So
yeah.
Well, Kat, we really appreciate this. This is dope. I mean, we'll have to do this again, and we'll have to get better questions from people, and, you know, we'll have to do this
more in context, guys. Goddamn.
Got to. But how about you shout out your social media and just all the stuff you want to plug?
Yeah, my Instagram handle is teen, T, 3 I's, 3 E's, and N, and I have a YouTube channel now. I don't actually remember what I put it under, but if you look up my name, it'll probably pop up. That's about
Got it. We'll put it in the descriptions and everything too. We'll take care of that part.
We'll appreciate this. OnlyFans with my feet after this podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, it's coming, guys. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Yes, appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome to the show, what a wonderful delight. Yeah, Potsy and T-Ross better chop up on the mic. Just sit back, have a laugh, catch a vibe, and enjoy the ride. Yeah.